So I woke up and had a bit of a premonition for a video, if you will. I'm supposed to be getting sleep because I work nights as of right now. And this felt very heavy. Weighed very heavy. There we go. On my shoulders. I know the video's been done at least half a dozen times, if not more. But you know, it's always good to get a fresh take, fresh perspective, if you will, on this issue. So I got my coffee made. I'm gonna finish it, get a little bite to eat, gear up, then we're gonna head out because sure, I could just sit in front of a camera and discuss this, but that's boring. So we're gonna try to do better. Alrighty, we're gonna go to the spot. First we gotta ride there though. To a 4-stroke. Now I'm nobody special. About my second season of riding. I did have when I was in high school, I had a 01 CR250. It was bored 50 over, so it was basically a 300. And I only rode it for a handful of hours. I'd say maybe 4 at the most. And that was when I started riding, is when I was 18. Because my dad was afraid of motorcycles and was also a quad guy, so it made a lot of sense. But then I ended up selling it when I went into the military. And I did the military thing for 10.5 years. Started out in the Air Force. Not even 2 years in, I switched to the Army because I didn't like it. So I went in the Army as an infantryman. I did that for a little over 8 years. And what I learned in doing that was sort of critically paying attention to gear. Critically paying attention to gear. And so while my riding might not be, you know, the riding experience might not be there, but what to pay attention to kind of is. And what I was looking for in a bike. So I started out, so when I initially was able to afford another bike again, because I couldn't afford it when I was in the military, we get paid really crappy. I wanted a 2-stroke, and I think it was more for like nostalgic purposes because that's what I had back in the day. It was kind of
honestly, it's pretty slick. It was a good deal. Had, I don't even think 20 hours on it. Maybe just over 20. Claimed, I should say. But you know, I looked into the looked at the piston and all that, and piston looked fine, everything looked great. So I do kind of believe that there were very little hours on it. The guy he bought it from some old dude who kind of had it set up for single track, and he just never rode it. The guy bought it from him, and he never rode it, so I got the deal. And I put about 30 hours on it, riding anywhere from the sand dunes to the track to out here, you know, open desert. So I put a lot of different terrain on it, I guess. But there was things that I wanted that the two-stroke just didn't have. And I kind of thought, you know, this season, me and my buddies would be riding more sand dunes, so I'd be able to really use a lot of this 450 power. And that hasn't been the case. I think we rode once, twice maybe. And you know, the season's like, it's already August. So I don't trust any of these corners. So yeah, so what I was looking for was, I want an electric start. After riding that single track, one of the days I rode single track up the mountains, and I had to kick my bike over a lot when, you know, I had to basically use my right foot, right leg, whatever, to you know, keep myself up. So that was difficult, and I wanted fuel injection. And I know there's, you know, two-strokes that are fuel injected, like everything under the KTM umbrella, but those are expensive and I can't afford those. So I posted my bike on sale, for sale on Marketplace, and a guy hit me up saying he basically wanted to trade this bike, my bike. So he kind of gave me the details on it. Details on it, and I was like, yeah, you know, this sounds like pretty good deals. What I'm looking for. It's got fuel injection, electric start, it's got more power, and also it's the first year of the Yamaha Wi-Fi tuner app, so it's like sick. So I went through with it, traded it, and also the bike is 4 years newer. And by the time I traded my old bike had double the hours this one did. Got this one at like 29 something. So it was a better deal. And this bike has been great so far. I actually really like this bike. doing that a lot lately. Come on now. It might be the different mapping I have on here. Alrighty, we are roughly at the spot. Honestly, I couldn't find it. So yeah, so this is where we ended up. It's pretty dang hot and I've got to be at work in a few hours. So anyways, getting into why I chose the 4-stroke over the 2-stroke. And like I said, sort of on the way here, I wanted more power due to sand dunes, due to just having that power on tap, which was really nice. Another thing was I wanted fuel injection. I was tired of messing with carbs, especially out here in Idaho where you can do a single track trail. We're about about 4,500 feet in elevation, but we can get up to almost 10,000. So having the fuel injection was nice. It's nice to not have to mess with that. Also, as I said earlier, the Wi-Fi tuner app is always great. It allows you to have, I don't know, a ton of different maps technically. Even though your map switch only has 2, but modern 4-strokes nowadays come with different mappings. And so I know the 2-strokes do, Husqvarna, KTM, along with the fuel injection. They don't, but I wouldn't call it necessarily a map, it's a power valve adjustment. But it does make it behave a lot like a, kind of a 250. Because I rode my neighbor's Husky 300 and I noticed that it didn't have a whole lot of top end on it. And I was used to my YZ250 and dude, that thing would just go. So that was another reason why I opted for a 4-stroke, was that versatility. I like being versatile. Also the stators on these they put out more wattage. So in case I do want to run a light, I have that option too. Also, another big plus is I don't have to mix my fuel. Now I know that's kind of part of the 2-stroke lifestyle is, mixing gas, hauling ass, but it kind of gets old after a while. And if I were to ever want to street legal this, yeah, I guess I could go up to a pump and do the whole slosh thing and just carry oil on me, but I don't want to do that. So I could just dump some ethanol-free fuel, 91 in here, because that's what we have up in Idaho. Or, if it really came down to it, you could dump some, ethanol fuel in there, which I don't recommend. I'm not a fan of, in case this does sit for a while, having to drain it and worry about it gumming up, or gelling up, I should say. So I'm just not about that. But the 2-stroke does have its merits. Both of the platforms do. They both have their merits. But the 2-stroke, it doesn't want to stall as easy or flame out. If you are running a carburetor now, you can run Electron. But also, the maintenance is just so much easier. I don't have to worry about timing, freaking valve clearance, none of that. And also the rebuild is way cheaper. I haven't had to rebuild this yet. I've got only about 44, maybe 45 by now hours on it. So that's okay. These things are known to go, 100 hours plus, especially if you're not racing it. Like I've done 2 hair scrambles. I've done one on my 250 and the other on this. And I wasn't hitting the rev limiter, none of that, man. I was freaking shit tier Sea Rider, so this baby's pretty safe. Yeah, the two-stroke, it's honestly great, and I've been finding myself lately almost wanting to go back to it, but not necessarily like a YZ. I also don't really want to go to a KTM or a Husky either because I talk so much shit on them. But you know, the aftermarket support on this bike, especially for fuel tanks for the 2018, is abysmal. IMS makes a super small one. I mean, yes, it's bigger than anything, but it's still, I think, $300, something like that. And a Turbis. Anyways, they make one too that's a lot bigger. However, it does sit over, you know, the seat height right here. Helmet's in the way and I'm not moving it. It does sit past that seat height, which I've never been that far up in the seat, and maybe I'm wrong for that, but I don't feel like I really need to. I'm kind of a tall dude. But at the end of the day, I'm really thinking about going back to a two-stroke. It's a lot of the riding I do is out here. It's hardly ever on a motocross track. As of right now, it's hardly on the sand dunes. But with the 300, you can do the sand dunes. Like I think St. Anthony's probably 13 miles north of me, and I've done choke cherry on that Husky 300, and it's doable. On my 250, I couldn't do it. I also, on the 250, if I had to put a paddle tire on there, I might have had a little more fun. But with the 300 though, I was using a knobby. So, go away, bud. I'm really thinking about going back to the two-stroke. I think it's a lot more versatile as far as, go away. I think it's a lot more versatile as far as your riding discipline, because it really can do it all, especially when you get in that 300 range. But I'm not going to downplay the four-stroke. The four-stroke's great. It freaking barks. This 2018 YZ450 is a fire-breathing dragon, and it's got so much power. It's insane. It does have more power than the 250 does, obviously. Yes, these things have a ton of torque. It is awesome. But, you know, if you tune the two-stroke right, you can get some pretty decent torque out of it too. I know Apex Technical Innovations, they do a swappable head. I say swappable, but it's a head. It's a billet head, and it's got swappable domes, so combustion chambers. And basically, what I ran on my YZ250 a lot of times was the XC, so the cross-country dome. I ran the motocross dome on it, and it behaved a lot like a four-stroke does as far as wanting to flame out. And then it had the Supercross head, which just had a metric F-ton of torque, and it really wanted you to be on the pipe. And that's sort of a difference too with these, is you don't have to ride these on the pipe. They've got so much bottom end pretty much anytime you want it. Versus the two-stroke, you gotta, you know, maybe slip the clutch a little bit, rev her up, get a little more power. But these bad boys, you just crank it, crank your hog. So, yeah. Anyways, is there any one perfect bike? No, but I think the closest thing to that perfect bike could be a two-stroke. Thanks for hanging out, and we're gonna wrap this up. It is hot, and I have got to get to work in a couple hours. Hey everybody, so it's been about a week since I recorded that video, and I didn't feel like it was complete enough. There's a lot of good points there, and I'm not going to dismiss the video. I can do a different or better job of sort of explaining those things. So I'm gonna do a more in-depth video of the 2 versus 4-stroke, and definitely give a little more insight and information on it this time. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching.